Hello guys, it is me again, it's HorrorFan34 and welcome back to another video. This is just going to be a random topic video, and this was a video that I was planning on doing for a while and I'm finally getting around to doing it. And that would be my top 10 favorite Stephen King movies. Now, you won't believe how many movies have been associated with Stephen King, not only just horror, but action, science fiction, drama, thriller. I mean, Stephen King has more movies to his name than just horror movies and all that. So this was a really tough list to make because I do enjoy a majority of Stephen King movies. Some of them I don't like, but maybe I'll save that for another video, like my top 10 least favorite Stephen King films, but and all that. But I figured I would just give you guys my personal choice of my top 10 favorite Stephen King movies. I'll say two of these on my top 10 are going to shock a lot of people, but some of these are, of course, no-brainers. Well, maybe three of them might shock you on here. Maybe three of them. Yeah, about three. I think three of these choices will shock people, but some of these are no-brainers. But before I get on to the top 10, you got to have your honorable mentions. So I have some of the honorable mentions here on my phone because I didn't want to leave some of these out because I didn't make the top 10, but I wanted to mention them. Honorable mentions, we have Carrie, Christine, Misery, Creepshow and Creepshow 2, Stand By Me, The Green Mile, Pet Sematary, Cat's Eye, Graveyard Shift. If you want to go a little more recently, It Chapter 1, the new It that just came out, Gerald's Game, which came out last year, Salem's Lot, that's another one, and two other ones that I do like that not many people do are Thinner, which I think is a underrated one that not many people like, but I like Thinner. And my last honorable mention that I have is The Langoliers. The reason why The Langoliers didn't make the top 10 is I enjoy the majority of the film up until when the Langoliers started tagging, because it's really horribly done special effects. I'll probably save that for whenever I review The Langoliers one day. Special effects just about kill the movie, but the rest of the movie I do enjoy. So that's why The Langoliers didn't make it either. So those are my honorable mentions. Now let's get on to the top 10. Okay. Coming in at number 10 is The Shawshank Redemption. I mean, do I really need to say more about The Shawshank Redemption that hasn't been said before? This is just a very well-made movie. It's great performances by Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. You also have Bob Gunton. Sorry if I messed the name up there. Bob Gunton, who was in many other movies like Bats and many other movies. William Sadler, Clancy Brown. Directed by Frank Darabont, who went on to do The Mist, which was also another Stephen King movie. But and The Mist was also an honorable mention, so I should have mentioned also. But The Shawshank Redemption, I mean, do I need to say more about The Shawshank Redemption that hasn't been said? I don't think I need to. It's a classic. Coming in at number 9 is a very underrated werewolf film. And that would be Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet is a film that I've talked about a few times already before. I want to review this at some point. But very, very well made werewolf film with Gary Busey and Corey Haim, and it's got great special effects. It's from the guy that did the special effects, the same guy that did Alien and E.T. So it's pretty good special effects. Fantastic musical score. I love the music in the film as well. And I know there's a new Blu-ray of this with some brand new features on it, so I want to get that at some point. But Silver Bullets, I think, is a really underrated werewolf film. Corey Haim is greatly missed as well. And being a big Gary Busey fan, too. Love Silver Bullet. Coming in at number 8 is a really underrated Stephen King film, and that would be The Dead Zone. Very, very, very unique movie. I think the performances are great, especially Christopher Walken, about him who wakes up from a coma after 5 years and he can see into the future. I mean, very, very stylish movie, very, very well told movie. Directed by David Cronenberg, same guy that did Scanners, The Fly, The Brood, Videodrome. I mean, David Cronenberg is one of my personal favorite horror directors. I still say my favorite though is The Fly. This will probably be my second favorite. I just love The Dead Zone so much. I think Christopher Walken did a good job, and the supporting cast. You have Tom Skerritt, Martin Sheen. I always think this is just a very underrated Stephen King film that not many people talk about, but I do enjoy The Dead Zone. Okay, now some of these I don't have on DVD. I gotta get them at some point, but coming in at number 7 is right here. Cujo. Cujo is another great adaptation for Stephen King about a killer St. Bernard dog. You know, Dee Wallace and her son are trapped in this car from this dog. I mean, it's a crazy movie, very, very crazy movie. Very slow burn movie at the very beginning, but then it picks up a little bit in the middle. I think Dee Wallace did a great job. It's got a great supporting cast like Daniel Hugh Kelly, Danny Pintaro. I mean, I don't think really you need to talk about Cujo that much. It's a pretty well-known Stephen King adaptation. Coming in at number 6, Maximum Overdrive. I've talked about this film already when I did my top 10 underrated films of 1986. This was one of the choices that I feel people will probably be shocked to be on my top 10. Maximum Overdrive to me is just a whole lot of fun to watch. Emilio Estevez and with bazookas and the Green Goblin, AC/DC soundtrack. It's just a ton of fun. It's a great screams 80s. It's a very 80s-like movie. I know Stephen King himself was not a fan of it because this is one of his least favorites. But I'm sorry, Stephen King. I'd rather watch this movie than like the Shining TV miniseries. I'd rather watch this than some of the other ones and all that stuff. I have a lot of fun with Maximum Overdrive. I think it's a really fun flick. Coming in at number 5, Children of the Corn. Children of the Corn is a film that I don't have on DVD yet. I don't know why. Well, there's a brand new era release Blu-ray that I want to get at some point. I'm gonna probably be getting that sometime down the road. But Children of the Corn is a classic. You know, Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton. Courtney Gaines as Malachi. John Franklin, I think that's his name, as Isaac, the little kid. I mean, such a well-told movie. The kids are really, really creepy. Very, very creepy atmosphere. I really do enjoy Children of the Corn a lot. It's a classic one, just like a lot of the other Stephen King adaptations. Coming in at number 4, right here, would be It. I mentioned that the new It was on the honorable mentions because I really do enjoy the new It, but to me though, this is the It that I'm always going to think of the most. I love this movie a lot. I know me and Rob are more fans of this than Alex is. I know Alex isn't too big on this, which is fine. But I really do enjoy this movie a lot. It's probably my favorite of the miniseries that was adapted for a Stephen King thing. This has a fantastic cast. You know, Dennis Christopher, Harry Anderson, of course, just passed away this year, which is too bad. Richard Masur from The Thing and he was Corey Haim's dad in License to Drive. You have Tim Reed, John Ritter, who's no longer with us anymore, Richard Thomas, Annette O'Toole. And some of the kids, you have Seth Green, Jonathan Brandis, Emily Perkins. Of course, you have Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown. Still, without a doubt, my favorite performance by Tim Curry. I think he did a great job in this movie. And, you know, we all float down here. We all float down here. Very wise of your dad, Georgie, very wise indeed. I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown, and you are Georgie, so now we know each other, correct? Yeah. Tim Curry's performance in this is just so well done. This is what, like I said, this is my favorite role of his. Love Stephen King's It. Now these two are really going to be shocking to a lot of people that these are in my top 10. Coming in at number 3 is actually a Stephen King film, but he wrote it under his other name, which was known as Richard Bachman. And yeah, you're right about this one. You ready? Coming in at number 3 is The Running Man. The Running Man is a Stephen King movie because it was written under Richard Bachman. I talked about this before already when I did my top 10 Arnold films. Very, very fun 80s action film. Richard Dawson as Killian, Yaphet Kotto. I mean, Arnold does a great job as Ben Richards. I mean, love The Running Man. Number 2 is also going to shock a lot of people, and that would be The Mangler. Very, very great underrated 90s horror film. Great gore. Ted Levine and Robert Englund are great together. It's directed by Tobe Hooper, who's no longer with us anymore. But The Mangler, I always thought was a really great underrated horror film from the 90s, and deserves to be talked about more. It gets hated a lot. I really don't understand why. It was based on the short story by Stephen King, but I think this is I think it's an underrated film. I do enjoy The Mangler. And coming in at number 1 is my number 1 favorite Stephen King adaptation is, without a doubt, The Shining. Here's Johnny. You know, The Shining is without a doubt my favorite Stephen King adaptation. It's my favorite role of Jack Nicholson. You know, very, very creepy atmosphere of the Overlook Hotel. It's beautifully shot by Stanley Kubrick. A lot of really creepy images, like with the woman in the bathtub and the blood coming out of the elevator, and you know, the little kid Danny riding on that little bike in the hallway, and he sees the 2 twin girls. You know, come and play with us, Danny. I mean, such a creepy thing. And of course, when Jack Nicholson sees the bartender guy and the whole hedge maze scene. I mean, I love The Shining so much. I mean, just talking about The Shining makes me want to go watch it again. The Shining, you know, it's a very slow burn movie, but it's a very slow burn film that I really do enjoy, and it's a fantastic Stephen King adaptation, and that's why The Shining is my favorite Stephen King adaptation. So that was it. Those are my top 10 favorite Stephen King movies. So I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.